guys, thank you for joining us on Real Talk, and we have with us a hero. I have watched her for so long, love her content, I love the way her mind works, and I love what she has to say, and you're going to love her too in just a moment. I want to encourage you to go to joinlizwheeler.com, joinlizwheeler.com, find out everything that's going on in the life of Liz Wheeler, because she is a depositor of truth. Liz, what in the world's going on today in light of what happened last night? Do you want to comment on it?
Definitely.
Go
Pastor
for
Doug,
it.
thank you so much for having me. I'm
My
so
pleasure.
excited to be here. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Supreme Court Justice, died last night.
Yep.
First reaction should be, may she rest in peace. Pray for her soul. Pray for her grieving family. Of course, every life is precious. And on that note, every life is precious. Every life is precious. Every life is precious. Which means that President Trump absolutely should nominate a new Supreme Court justice before the election, because tens of millions of unborn babies' lives are at stake. I mean, this could be the generation that overturns Roe v. Wade with a new Supreme Court that's actually looking at the constitutional principles, protection of life.
Exactly.
We're ready for this fight.
All of a sudden, Chuck Schumer, Nancy, the team, they think that the Constitution should actually be suspended in light of Ruth Bader Ginsburg's request to not appoint anyone until after there's a new president. I don't know if you've heard that or not.
I have heard that, but it's funny because
We should honor her feelings.
I'm not going to comment on her feelings. Ideologically, I disagree with her. Of course, she feels that way. However, what I will bring to people's attention is Barack Obama in 2016, Joe Biden in 2016, Chuck Schumer in 2016, all saying that there is no caveat in the Constitution to a president's, a chief executive's authority to nominate a new Supreme Court justice even during an election year. They specifically said that before President Obama nominated Merrick Garland in 2016. Magically now, apparently the Constitution's different because it's President Trump. Even, by the way, regarding the so-called McConnell rule, where you don't nominate, a president doesn't nominate out of courtesy, just procedure, it's not law.
That's right.
Out of courtesy, if the Senate is held by a different party during an election year, that does not apply in 2020. In 2016, the Senate was held by the GOP. President Obama at the time obviously was a Democrat. Well, now the Senate's held by the GOP, and President Trump is a Republican. There's no courtesy involved there. Do it, nominate it. We have had so many Supreme Court justices confirmed in shorter amounts of time.
Absolutely. And you said it a moment ago, that's not the law, that's a gentleman's agreement, right?
Yeah, that's not the law.
Exactly.
No.
So listen, how's this going to play out? How do you see it going? And when I ask you that, I mean, what's going to happen in our streets? What? Because we're already hearing threats.
Yeah.
So how do you actually see this honestly playing out from Liz Wheeler's perspective?
Well, first of all, I do not think that we should make our decisions based on threats of violence from the other side, because that makes them
They win.
Controlling bullies. We're not going to decide what principles and what laws and what is right to do based on their threats, based on their bullying. That's absolutely the wrong thing to do. I mean, the first thing that we should do is say a prayer for Senator Romney, for Senator Collins, for Senator Murkowski, that they have the guts to stand with life, on the side of life, that they have the courage to, I hate this phrase because Gavin Newsom uses it all the time, but to meet this moment and to vote in favor of a Supreme Court justice who could be the deciding vote in overturning Roe v. Wade. 60 million unborn babies have died in this country at the hands of abortionists. We have to be the generation that ends that, and we could be. And it doesn't matter what procedure or tradition. If it's not the law, it doesn't matter. It's the president's right to nominate.
Right on. Ben Franklin said that God governs in the affairs of men. You think about that for a moment. And I love the fact that in the Hebrew language, that there's no word for coincidence. So think of Ginsburg is now dead. Trump is in power. The opportunity now falls to him to make this decision, which honestly is one of the big reasons. I didn't know who Donald Trump was personally, policy-wise, in 2016, but
Nobody
I voted.
did.
Yeah, but I voted for him. But now, the very reason why I voted is coming to pass. That a president, conservative, would appoint a judge.
Yeah.
And so I'm delighted about what's about to happen. But all of a sudden, right, on the news, Ginsburg is off limits to criticize, off limits. This woman was the most activist judge that has been on the bench. And even recently, yesterday, Jay Sekulow said that when you argued your case in front of her, you already knew where she stood and how she was going to vote based upon her own decision. Her own decision, where she couldn't be swayed. Ted Cruz said the same thing yesterday. Is that being a judge where you cannot be swayed by the truth or by the revelations of the argument? I thought that was weird to hear. How weird that you have a judge who has already made up their mind on their policies. They're not going to judge according to what might be right in the culture or what's true.
I think it's nuanced in the sense that, you know, if you or I were on the Supreme Court, we know what our jurisprudence is. We know how we interpret the Constitution. We interpret it in a more literal way, right? In the way that the founders wrote it as understood at the time of the founding, right? We know how we understand each amendment. We know how we understand each phrase and each clause. And so our minds, in a sense, are made up. Now, there might be an argument about how our jurisprudence applies to each issue, but I don't want by any means a Supreme Court justice who's easily swayed by a compelling argument unless it shows. My problem is that her jurisprudence was not in line with what the founders intended.
Yes,
I mean, she was a radical
well
leftist activist on the court. That's not what I want. As a constitutional conservative, I want someone to look in an originalist, textualist fashion at the Constitution and apply that to modern times, because that's the amazing thing about the Constitution of the United States is it's not a document that was written to only apply to a certain time. It was specifically written to be timeless, to apply to things that the founders couldn't have even fathomed. I mean, think about like tech privacy laws. Imagine like John Adams, you know, writing physical letters to his wife Abigail that took months to go across the seas. They couldn't have fathomed our instant technology. Amazing. You and I doing what we're doing right now, podcasting. Yet the principles in the Constitution apply. I want someone who understands that, who's not trying to rewrite it. And Republicans, this is why we elect Republican senators, right? This is why we elected President Trump. This is our time. This is our opportunity. Why would we let that go? We're prepared. Let's do it.
Right on. Okay, so look through the Liz Wheeler prognostication scope. How's the election going to go? What do you think regarding those that are running for office? Of course, the presidency. What do you think? What do you feel?
Okay, so this is the most boring answer ever. I don't think that anyone who is making predictions about the election should be listened to because of things like this. Because who would have thought, 6-8 months ago that COVID-19 would happen that all the policy would happen? Who would have thought that Ruth Bader Ginsburg would die in mid-September right before an election? All of these things impact people's votes. So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen between now and then? It makes a difference. I will tell you, I do think the Supreme Court traditionally, historically, fires up the Republican base, voting-wise, more than the Democratic base. Even if they're loud about it, voting-wise, it typically swings towards Republicans. So if I were President Trump, I'd focus pretty hard on this and pretty hard on school choice.
I've been impressed with how you have spoken before and recently where you have informed California and America who Kamala Harris is. Her leadership over San Francisco in California. With a little bit of time left, do you want to comment about who she really is? A lot of people don't know who she is at all.
No, I mean, this woman is the most radical leftist senator in the United States Senate. That's not my personal opinion. GovTrack.org rated Kamala Harris as the most liberal senator. Remember, Bernie Sanders serves in the United States Senator. They rated Kamala Harris as the most liberal senator in 2019. She is in bed with Planned Parenthood. And when I say Planned Parenthood, I want everyone to understand what I mean. The largest abortion provider in the United States of America, who has covered up the statutory rape of young girls in their profit-motivated system of giving people as many abortions as possible. They have profited off of aborted baby body parts. They harvest them and sell them. Kamala Harris is on their side. She has admitted that she wants gun confiscation. She calls it a mandatory gun buyback program. Well, what do you think that is? It's mandatory that government buys back something that they don't own. That means the government is confiscating your property under penalty of the law. I mean, this woman is so radical. She supported the Green New Deal. She supported Medicare for all. She supported decriminalizing border crossings. This is not a moderate. This is not someone who has common sense policies. This is a radical leftist who wants to transform the country. Don't fall for her rhetoric.
Absolutely true. Our mutual friend Dennis Prager said that the left has the ability to destroy everything it touches. And that's quite a profound statement because it's so very true.
It's certainly true when it comes to constitutional rights.
Yeah, absolutely. Liz, wrapping it up, look into the camera, tell people where they can stay connected with you and how they can find out more.
Yes, please visit joinlizwheeler.com. Just for your information, that'll actually take you to my YouTube page. It's just a vanity URL to make it easier for you. Joinlizwheeler.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Liz_Wheeler and on Facebook at facebook.com/official Liz Wheeler. We will have videos and commentary every day until Election Day, keeping you up to date on everything you need to know and debunking the liberal talking points that need to be debunked. Pastor Jack, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Awesome.